like we have Rock here.
Hey, Rock.
Yes, sir.
We are
Hello, hello.
showing the
How's it
job
going?
fair.
Yeah.
Have you
This
seen
looks
it?
amazing. No, no, actually, it looks amazing.
It's an immersive job fair of Web3 jobs and opportunities. Currently, we have all for climate DAO, we have Solidarity Card, and we have ShineDAO and Givet.io, and also MetaGuild. So there are tons of opportunities. If you know somebody that is looking for a job or an entry point to Web3, tell them to come here.
Oh wow, that sounds amazing. We'll do definitely.
Cool. Let's
Very
go with
nice.
you.
So I guess I'm gonna share my screen, if that's okay.
Yep.
Please do.
Awesome. Then I guess I can start whenever you guys are ready.
Yeah, for sure. And at first, it would be nice to share a bit of information about yourself and what you mostly do before we get right into the meat.
Sure. So I'm actually one of the founding members of ShineDAO. Before Shine, I used to work as an entrepreneur in residence in early stage European startups when I was mostly focusing on product and growth. I got into crypto back in 2016, mostly speculating at the time, to be fully honest. And like after DeFi summer, I really saw some better use cases, and that really made me kind of convinced to even quit my job and go full-time crypto at the time. Before giving ShineDAO my full attention, I was part of an incubator where my co-founder and I were building like a frictionless DeFi savings account. We wanted to give some piece of ownership to early users and create a DAO and governance and distribute fees to token holders. But that was kind of late in 2020, and at the time, it kind of seemed like VCs were not really on board with with that idea. Also it made us realize that usually when you raise capital, you don't want just capital, but you want some other value investors can bring to the table. And unfortunately, also like most of the VCs we talked at the time were not really able to provide much more than just capital. And that kind of led us into like conversations with some other friends who were also in similar position. We started to talk about what would be like the ultimate support we would want to get for kind of building decentralized products. And we also talked to a bunch of other early stage teams and tried to get some insights about that. We kind of realized that it's a bit different building like Web3 product than Web2, because they're often like open source, decentralized, and community owned. And often really this kind of core defensibility and value of something comes from the community of stakeholders and their network effects. And talking to more than 50 early stage builders, we realized that they sometimes built innovative stuff, but they struggled to create those network effects in a sustainable way. So we were just like thinking, oh, what if we create a community of, I don't know, founders, developers, designers, bridge builders, people who are like deep in DeFi and Web3, and allow them to have skin in the game in promising projects. And we've been exploring that for over a year, almost, a bit more than a year now. We'd love to tell you more about it.
Yeah, seems like you did a full exit to community.
Sorry?
Seems like you did a full exit to community.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Also very brave of you to just go full in on Web3. It seems like you're one of the true believers, probably why you're here right now at this moment still.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's exciting space, and you don't have like a lot of times in your lifetime opportunities when something completely new is created. So I think we're still very early, and everything is still very primitive. There's a lot of things that need solutions. So it's like very exciting fields to be part of, I guess.
Hey, Rock.
Yeah.
I think
Yes,
you were
sir.
mentioning something about the values, and that is super important, as you were saying. And can
Mhm.
you tell us the values that you are promoting in ShineDAO that
Mhm.
you were not finding in with VCs?
Mhm. Yeah, so I think like there's two things that we kind of offer to early stage projects. And if I scroll a bit down, one of them is seed, and the second one is swap. So seed allows early stage teams to raise capital from community who's like deep in DeFi and Web3. And our assumption here is that it's gonna like increase the chance of success for this project if they raise like smart capital from people who are in the space, because we assume that they're gonna be able to like connect them, facilitate like introductions, and so on. So that's like one part. And the second part is like focusing on the values, which is like we saw that a lot of projects struggle with like adjacent or like same problems, such as like how do you build community, how do you create liquidity on the market, and like a lot of very similar questions. And we thought, okay, like why not create like a network of people who are like experts in the field, and yeah, create a way for them to get incentivized to actually deliver milestones for their project, for those projects. And kind of how do we like align all the incentives between all those three stakeholders, and how do we create like positive flywheel where all this is happening, yeah, and creating value for everyone. So that were kind of like the main challenges, pretty much, if that answers your question.
Yes. Can you explain us a little bit more how maybe
Hmm.
user story?
Oh,
I
Can
mean,
I?
sure.
I think
Of
if
course.
this is also a part of your presentation, it's good to.
Hmm.
It seems we already got in, so
Yeah, we did.
ready to get her from the start. I guess it will be part of it. So
Yeah, we dived straight into it, and I was planning to present like actually different stakeholders and whether their benefits and how do they work with each other through our token economics.
okay, so
Go ahead as you
And
please.
hmm.
all right,
All
nice,
right.
nice. Yeah, so I think like I already presented like the key kind of things offered to early stage projects, but let me explain like how does it also work from perspectives of like supporters and contributors. So supporters are pretty much people who are interested in yeah, investing in early stage ideas, and we allow them to do this by yeah, like they need some skin in the game to be able to get access to our, let's say, internal launchpad, and they need to like buy Shine tokens, stake Shine tokens in a V style contract, and then they get access to our launchpad. And in this case, they are able to pretty much buy project tokens that are vested over time to them automatically. They pay a small fee that buys back Shine, and this Shine is then pretty much distributed to contributors who are sourcing projects. And yeah, this is how we're trying to make it sustainable. um, Contributors and supporters can be like the same people. There is no conflicts of interests, so people can have like be in both shoes at the same time. But the difference is that contributors are actually people who are like yeah, like more actively participating and actually expect something in return for doing so. And most of the time they will get yeah, Shine, and then they have like ability either to sell it on the market, or pretty much stake it and get like some of the benefits in the future. So that's like the rough idea of of how things work. My idea for today was to give like a rough overview, which is something that I just did. I was thinking about presenting like the major milestones, or maybe just give people the rough idea of where we are as a community at the moment. Then I would like to maybe potentially dive deeper into assumptions of our token economics model and allow people who are listening to this now to challenge some of the assumptions. And ideally, we can even have like a conversation around this. I would also love to present some of the initiatives and plans that we still have till the end of Q2, and also present like opportunities for contributors and supporters to get involved, if that sounds okay.
Yeah, of course. Sounds exciting.
Very nice. So
Let's dive
yeah,
in.
nice. So I guess like our key achievements of what we achieved so far is, first, I think like we really talked to a lot of different projects. Yeah, like definitely over 50 high quality early stage DeFi and Web3 projects. And we believe we developed very good empathy around like what are the needs of early stage founders in Web3 space. I'm not sure if we have like perfect solution for those needs yet, but I think like we are very close to getting there. And I think like yeah, having good understanding of this is obviously something that we're quite happy with. I think the second milestone that we achieved was we pretty much aligned incentives between those stakeholders through token economics. And we also forked vote escrowed token design, which is originally pioneered by Curve, also like implemented in Frax, and seems to be like a next trend. If you're not familiar with restart tokens, what they do is pretty much that they increase the weight of someone's tokens based on the time lock. So the longer people log their tokens in, this is how they express their commitment to the community. And then we give them like higher weight, higher governance power, distribute higher rewards, and so on. Yeah, we believe this is like a pretty good mechanic to yeah, it seems pretty healthy, at least. Next thing that we built successfully was own token gated fundraising platform. It's currently being rebranded because we did slight rebranding. So I mean, I can actually show you how it used to look. If you're, oh no, all right, then no, it's you will be able to access it in a week or so through Launch App, but it's currently being rebranded. And yeah, I think we figured out also a pretty good way on how to source projects at very early stages and bring them into our deal flow. In total, we brought more than 120 projects in the deal flow so far. And yeah, we are also looking into possibilities and how to create like automate some of the parts. So for anyone who's like excited about or new stuff being built or wants to be on top of things, I think it's kind of like an interesting opportunity. And maybe like some numbers as well. So we grew community to 1,500 members in Discord, which is sometimes like vanity metrics a lot of times, right? Like number of people on Discord doesn't really mean much, but what we can say is that 250 more than 250 people applied for contributor position. We so far had more than 100 unique supporters, so addresses investing in early stage projects, and we launched 3 projects so far, very different ones. So we have DGen News. This is like an internal project. We wanted to tokenize content creation. And it's not like fully launched, but it kind of works. You can check it out already. It's pretty much like Hacker News with token economics. Then we built like we helped building like a fully decentralized from day one community-owned options protocol called DeFi options. And Cassandra, which is another way of us, like we tried actually plug ourselves into like existing team as community, and that worked pretty well as well. So we tried like 3 different things to learn, and yeah, so far we raised in total for also including Shine through our launchpad 615,000. And yeah, we haven't really focused on any marketing activities or anything like it so far. So we were so these are kind of the rough milestones around what we have been doing so far. Maybe any questions or comments at this stage?
Let's see at our YouTube chat.
All right.
Are there any? No, it's not here. Um, doesn't seem to be any yet. So,
I have a question.
yep.
Sure.
Okay, so in the last session, the last talk, we had Pat,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about marketing. And now
Yeah.
you were mentioning this, like we raised this amount of money without marketing efforts.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you did PR with by talking to this VC, or you had a network, or can you talk more about this? Just very brief to close that. But I would
Mm-hmm.
love to see or to know the user story. I think that will benefit the people watching this session to know how to apply, what to expect, and the process.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, very good questions. So I think like yeah, a lot of our like initial success was due to being at the right place at the right time. To be fully honest, like when we started raising, for example, for DeFi options, it was sold out in less than like 5 minutes, and simply by posting a link into our community, we didn't even really, I'm not even sure if we made like an announcement anywhere else. I'm sure we didn't do it for Shine, and it seemed like at the time people were almost a bit like irrational, to be honest, and just like trying to get into early in the projects early, and it's not something we wanted to take really advantage of, because we were very clear that we are not building like a typical launchpad scheme with pump and dump stuff. But I think like some of the people perceive it like this, so we got like some of the audience from there. I would say some of them were our friends. So like our friends who are also like contributors, and we're like really believing in the projects that we are working with, and also like believing in the mission of ShineDAO. So I think like yeah, I think like at least 50%, I would say, would be from here. And yeah, also like ourselves, we are also like ourselves like investing in those projects. So these are pretty much our supporters at the moment. But yeah, I think like the supporters also change in like different market conditions. I think like this bear market is also like opportunity for us to get like really high quality supporters who are playing who are really true believers and play the game like long term, and are not here just to like speculate on short term games. So yeah, I'm actually excited about bear market and the opportunity it brings. And
Yeah.
yeah, I hope that answered the first part.
Yes.
I
Interested
also
in.
intended to ask you about the bear market and how it affected you, but this is I got my answer.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be way harder, right? Like
Yeah.
in terms of market uncertainty, not just in crypto but like macro uncertainty, people are not usually interested in investing in the most risky asset class out there. uh, so like it's also like our main revenue, so it's definitely not like optimal, but we managed to build, like I can go deeper into this later, but we're almost self-sustainable because we're running very lean, and most of the people contributing are doing this as a part-time activity. We are really organized like a DAO, and yeah, we distribute the amounts that the value that we capture, we distribute between people who brought the most value. So this is pretty much the dynamic. Yeah.
And are you using?
Maybe coming back to use. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Go on.
No. Feel free to ask. If we're using what?
Now, in terms of defining the value and distributing it between participants and contributors, do you use specific tooling like reputation systems or something like Coordinate, or do you take care of that through budgeting alone?
Yeah, like we played with Coordinate at the beginning, and we believe it's like a very good tool, and we're planning to kind of bring it back because we at some point we realized that yeah, like our contributors at the time were not like involved like every day, and they were a bit struggled to understand how to evaluate each other so we realized the distribution through Coordinate was like very flat and didn't really reflect the value that so like the person who really brought the most value didn't really get so much more tokens than the person who wasn't really involved as much. So we were risking like a free rider problem. So we slightly moved away from this just to figure out how to use Coordinate better. But I think we have a better idea on how to do it now. So we're gonna bring it back. And what we're distributing is gonna be pretty much just like fees. So like if we raise, let's say 100K through seed for a project, 10% is gonna go into buyback, and out of this, let's say 5%. So let's say 5K is going to be distributed to people who were in charge of like who either brought in the project or like helped with evaluating it, or just created some value for Shine. So this is like the standard process, but of course we also have some resources that people can apply for, or like convince the community that it's kind of a good use of resources for their initiatives, and anyone is welcome to create their own proposals on that and use treasury funds for like expanding the platform. So that's pretty much how it works. Hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like you were experimenting, which is good. Because
we are.
you cannot like these systems need a lot of iteration, need a lot of trial and error. They seem very easy to use, but they're really not
exactly.
in the community level.
Yeah, now just to say it, in Gitcoin grants there is praise, the mechanism that Token Engineering Commons, the Common Stack, and the Token Engineering Academy uses. And so you might be interested in checking it. And also we have in Metagame our own MetaSys, which uses SourceCred. And in fact, MetaSys was the thing that triggered SourceCred to exist. And so you can check it out and ask us whatever you want about that. We have around 2 more minutes.
Oh, that's great. We've been all.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. We were actually also exploring a bit with SourceCred, and it was a great tool, especially like for the engagement part. So it was very good with capturing engagement in Discord and the forum. Unfortunately, we struggled a bit with setting up like the right weights for capturing all types of contributions. So like even if someone creates like a PR, it's very hard to evaluate how much value does it bring without someone like subjectively trying to assess it. It was very hard for us to capture all types of contributions with it, but we have like a source cred experience as well. So that was also like super interesting. But what I was thinking to do actually is to show you like some of the key assumptions that we have around like if any of those is like not really true, then something that we are currently working on is probably not going to work. And like
All right.
I would love you guys to try to help me to break them actually, and that might be fun.
I
And
really
I'm
appreciate
gonna
asking
also
for
like tell
feedback,
you about like what.
like
Nice.
publicly. Yeah,
Yeah, I can
it's
also tell you like what.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's not easy to do. So kudos.
Nope, nope. Well, like our first assumption is obviously that people are interested. Sorry, that projects are interested in having individuals in their cap table before, like the IDO and before they actually like launch the tokens and so on. So like very early on, and we so far like it seems like we were quite successful with convincing at least like we successfully really convinced 2 projects to do that, but also we got a lot of genuine positive sentiment from founders, and they like resonated with the idea of having like a bunch of individuals that are relevant to what they're doing early on in their cap table. And yeah, if what do you guys feel about that? All right, I'm gonna then jump into like the second point, which is that projects are willing to swap some of their tokens for Shine to access talent network and use them to incentivize our contributors to achieve their milestones. This one is something that we haven't really validated yet, to be honest. And Swap was just like introduced a few weeks ago. And I mean, obviously, we did some research and talked to some projects, and we feel like we are able to convince them. But I'm wondering, like, what is your perspective on this? Is this something that you might find useful even at meta game? Would you be
So this is
interested
like bounties,
in a
right?
swap for
Like people could
not just
set
for
up.
bounties, but for like specific milestone?
Yeah, but let's think the
Because
milestones like something that people can put some money into it. Like, hey, I need this and like this deliverable, and I offer this amount of
yeah,
Shine. Let's say. Yeah, I think it's very useful.
yeah, exactly.
It's
All
what
right.
I'm thinking is that it's very hard to
Yeah, so,
say when I cannot see it in practice because it's so much different. I guess there's so many variables that are
yeah,
outside of the
yeah.
scope.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Well, I mean, it still makes sense, I guess, to say at least what are the assumptions that we have for our model to work, and maybe I can just like go through them, and if you find anything that you think is like just like bullshit, just try to break it.
Okay, let's go.
So the next thing was that supporters should invest as individuals through DAO rather than in a fund, because at the beginning we thought, okay, let's create a fund and let's have a DAO and let's let individuals to kind of like direct the funds in that fund, but we realized that there was like a bit lower engagement and people were not as responsible as if they were investing their own money. So we thought, okay, let's create like a own launchpad rather, and allow people to invest their own money. So that was one of the experiences that we had. Then we also, one of the key assumptions is that individuals are actually interested in investing in early stage projects, And yeah, like in bull market, that was like really obviously the case. As I said before, like one of the seat sales was sold out in like less than 5 minutes. And yeah, like in bear market, we yeah, like we definitely feel like that there's like a bit negative sentiment, and that people even like talking one to one with many of our community members, I feel like there's less of an interest for doing that. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge, but definitely not impossible. Like people who believe in the space long term know that it's kind of like build season, and that it's like good opportunity if you're yeah, here for the long term. Then the third point was that supporters are willing to buy and stake our own token to be able to access those sales. Obviously, this creates some friction, right? It's like you need a token, and then you also need to like stake it and so on. But at the same time, it's also like a good filter, because people who are willing to do that are also like committed to community and show up for community calls and like participate. So even though we might lose some people over here, we believe like it's kind of in the best interest of community. And the fourth point is that supporters who invested in a project. Sorry, you want to say something?
Hey,
No,
yes, I
right.
want to,
Supporters who
I want to
invested in a
give
project.
feedback on this. So
Right,
reading them,
right.
so I think that one important thing is to open this as supporters might be interested or might be willing, because unless you have a very, very well crafted persona, which this type of person is the supporter kind, let's say, because I don't think that all supporters are willing to do all these things, but some supporters will do. And this changing these words in your mind also open the possibility for others to participate, and in the way you communicate it too. And for example, all of us, I think, are investors in in projects, and we do not contribute in all these projects, but we contribute in some, or we have contributed in some. And so I think for someone to contribute into a project is because the project goes beyond a yield, a profit, a whatever, but something that the person is willing to see materialized in his her lifetime. And so that is very important. This is returning to the values we were mentioning before. And about investing through a DAO rather than through a fund, well, that depends on how you want to put things. Both are good, and might be that you will need to validate this with specific supporters that are already in your in your funnel, let's say, that are already supporters, that are already participating, that already have the tokens. Um, and finally, just going to the next one, because I already read them. Um, Contributors are able to lead key activities in the project. Yes, because we have that in metagame, but you need to be very aware that chaos will emerge from that. So you will need very defined structures and or project product managers that can facilitate those contributions. Otherwise, people are just going to go wild, and it might be a loss of time for
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. It's true. It's true. It's also what we learned, to be honest. Like, I think, like with our experience with DeFi options, for example, which was like fully decentralized. What we said was like, okay, like we have some resources. Now anyone can do whatever they think is valuable, and then let's let's try to do something out of chaos. And that didn't really work as well as I would say with. Cassandra, for example, where they had like a internal team like owning activities, and we were still like supporting some of the activities. So it felt like it was a better dynamic, and I would say that this is actually invalidated, to be honest. Yeah, but I think like one of the other ones that we have mentioned is like that we are trying to like that we are able to build self-sustainable organization. And I think like um, yeah, this is also like a bunch of assumptions around that, but it seems like if we are constantly like deploying all our treasuries, and if we're like adopting like good risk management in that, while bringing at least one project like a month in community, either for swap um, or seed, we are pretty much self-sustainable. So we are kind of on the path there. And yeah, like this is a bit funny, but yeah, we it's also important that people have a good time and that they show up and so on. We also like saw that I'm not sure how's it at Metagame, but we really felt the difference based on the market sentiment. Again, we see this just as an opportunity to find the right people in bad sentiment now, and like expand our community with people who are here regardless of how price looks like on the chart. The final 2 points are that we are able to like build bridges with other organizations and just try to find like mutually beneficial way to collaborate with other DAOs. And or like one idea that we're also possibly exploring now is like that other DAOs, not just individuals, might be interested in investing in early stage projects through our infrastructure.
That last one is
Mhm.
gold. That I think that's a great opportunity, but you will need to categorize the projects in perspectives that for DAOs are easy to navigate or to find. Let's say like tooling, like Web3 tooling, right? So a DAO will be interested
Mhm.
in having a type of service, and they will invest in it. And this DAO can be like several contributions of DAO members that have decided to invest as the DAO, or it can just be a way for the DAO members to find interesting things for their DAO, and they might invest individually. But having this perspective is something that I find valuable.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. I fully agree with you. And this is also something we recently came up with. And my focus in the next 2 weeks will actually be to try to validate this by approaching like a bunch of DAOs, giving them a sneak peek of our deal flow, and like just showing them projects that we have in our pipeline, and just try to like gauge the sentiment for them to be yeah, if they're actually interested in this. And if yes, we could even do like yeah, like even some token swaps to, because I think like token swaps are kind of ultimate handshakes between communities in Web3. So yeah, it's definitely something that we want to try next, actually. So these are pretty much we just like went quickly through like how we think the things will work. And now I would actually love to show you what exactly we're working on at the moment, so people can know like how they can get involved. So yeah, like first objective for the end of this quarter is to accept 2 new projects. This is going to be, as I said before, a bit harder because of the market conditions, but we're still like actively working on all 3 initiatives. So with supporters engagement, we are actually actively looking for people who are interested in joining a community and interested in like investing in early stage ideas. So my job now will be to like just go around into other communities, leverage my friends and so on, like to try to talk to as many people as possible and try to like invite them into our community. We want to like increase the inflow of projects before we had like 40 projects. We sourced like 40 interesting projects per month, and we want to like increase that number because we realized that, of course, as always, there's only like a percentage of like really things that we really believe in as a community. So we just want to like start at the top of the funnel and like explore like tools, even build internal tools from that. We're trying to like onboard like people who are some ones who we can really learn a lot from. Like we managed to convince, for example, like a VP of growth from multi-chain to be one of those people, and we are looking to bring more of people like that because they're just like very well connected and they can bring insane value to the community. They have like good ideas. So we're definitely trying to find like more really high profile people for that purpose. So this is when it comes to objective one. If you want to get involved in any of those activities, you can always find like the lead here, and you can just DM the lead in our Discord. Then the second thing was improving positioning of ShineDAO because we like I was actually speaking at Metagame like last year once, not in MetaFest, but just like a random like presentation. And
community call.
we really community call, exactly. And we really changed a lot since then, and those changes were not really reflected on our website or and so on. So we felt like, okay, we are not like really clear with what we're doing, and like for someone external it might be hard to understand what exactly is going on. So we decided to kind of like reposition, and we already like launched a new website, we updated documentation, we rolled out the new brand, and as I said, we're still working on launching the new web app. It's some parts are already done, but some parts are not yet launched, like on fundraising platform is not yet launched, for example. The contracts are obviously there, but like the front end needs to be adjusted to the new brand. And then when it comes to new token economics, this is also what I was explaining before, like all those ways to align incentives between different stakeholders and create like positive flywheel effects. This is also like new and has been launched. Like parts of it have been launched this quarter and like last month. So we already launched vShine token. We just launched reward contracts today. Actually, I need to test them. And we have already V1 version of vesting contracts that kind of allow us to align incentives long term with projects, but we're trying to like improve those and give them like a bit more flexibility so projects can choose for themselves and create proposals. So we imagine everything being trustless and happening on chain, so projects can propose, okay, we want to allocate this amount of tokens to ShineDAO community supporters with this cliff and this kind of vesting period, and the governance proposal is created. Then everyone who is a kind of supporter who has like vShine can vote with their vShine whether or not to accept this or not. If we accept it, then they have access to kind of get to this to those tokens pretty much. We're also like applying for grants. And our goal is to secure 100K in grants. We have like also this thing in our community that pretty much anyone can apply us for grants. We have like a template created, and if anyone who gets a grant for us gets like 5 to 10% of the grant as a reward. And we're actively exploring like different ways to improve our legal setup. We have like a basic legal setup, but we want to like keep improving that all along. So this is pretty much what's happening at the moment. And I think, everyone is like really invited to either participate in any of those activities, or even suggest some of their own initiatives that they believe might bring value to the community. And of course, if they're able to convince the rest of contributors and supporters, they can also get some resources to be able to complete those initiatives. And maybe just to clarify also on how exactly people what is the actual flow to get involved. So for supporters, it's relatively easy. If you're interested in investing in early stage projects through a DAO and want to be like part of community, you just get 15K Shine, and you introduce yourself in Discord, and you kind of stake Shine to get V-Shine, and get and through Collabland access to all the discussions that we have around like investing in projects in our Discord. We're gonna like organize like community calls for supporters and so on, to talk about and evaluate projects together. And for contributors, we have like two different types of involvement. So one are like open bounties. Here, pretty much anyone coming to our Discord can always find like at least a bounty or two that is open and available for them to like contribute towards. And if they want to be part of this kind of network, or like that we are using to plug ourselves into like execution / consulting arm of ShineDAO that plugs itself into early stage projects and like deliver milestones and so on. They can apply by simply introducing themselves in the channel, and usually after that we schedule like a bunch of one-on-one calls and try to like make sure that we have like really people who are able to deliver milestones and have like experience. If people don't yet have experience, they can still try to find things to prove themselves. And there's always a way when there's will, as they say. So that's pretty much how people can get involved. I'm sure there might be some additional questions, so I'm gonna give Mike back to you guys.
Well, I don't see any questions from YouTube or the community, so I don't know if you, Berto, you have any. There's also a lot of information, and I think it would be very valuable to share it around on our Discord. We have a special channel for that, guest seal links. You can share all these resources there and have feedback from people in the community. And I think we're pretty much way above time. So it was very nice to have you here. This is amazing stuff, and I'm very impressed with what is happening, and that you're still going through and fighting this fight in these difficult times.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, thank you for having us. It's always a pleasure. It's a great stuff what you guys are doing. We're huge fans of Metagame, so keep up the good work, and hope to stay in touch.